Oh my gosh. Yep, that's it. Welcome back to another episode of Misplaced Garage. I really didn't want this vehicle back in the garage, but we lost a cylinder. I'm probably a total of $1,000 into this truck now, and I'd really not like to be much more. So I'm thinking that if it's just a valve, I can probably pull the head out, replace the valve pretty cheap, pretty easy. Like 115 PSI. 0. So here's my spread for PSI. Got 112 in the front, 0 in the next one, 116 in the third, and 126 in the rear. So that's a pretty big deficit between 112 and 126. Probably call those due to piston ring wear and whatnot, just because this car does have 220,000 miles on it. The 0 though, it's obviously not good. It would run if it had 112, 116, and 126, and if this one was somewhere near that, but 0 won't do. Alright, so I got this kind of rigged up here. So this is loose. It goes up and down. That guy goes up and down, so there is complete spring pressure on the valves. And I've got this guy hooked up here. It's kind of a ghetto setup, but it works. So I'm shoving it down there into the spark plug hole, holding a lot of pressure on it. And if I can get video of that, see that towel is moving? That tells me everything I need to know. Alright, so I've done the same setup now, and I've put it on a cylinder 1 with both valves closed. Resistance like that. So that tells me those valves are obviously good. Now that I have basically confirmed that it is the valve in fact, or at least one of the valves, hopefully it's not piston valve and everything else. Well, it's been many hours later now, and I have disassembled everything and the head is loose. But I get to do the fun part of probably sitting in the engine bay. Oh, that's not very comfortable. I feel like I should put a... Come on. You really had to get stuck. That was absurd. The valve is just missing in that corner. So something pretty high up on the list here is this stud broke off on the manifold. Obviously this one still looks pretty good, and I think I might be able to reuse that. But I need to figure out how to get that one out and maybe either replace it with a bolt or if I can find a stud. I don't know if the nut spun or if the bolt spun. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and try an easy out. We'll see how well this works. And it breaks. That's nice. And it broke and the camera conveniently turned off. So now, last chance here is to heat the ever-loving snot out of it and try and vice grip it out. Well, it didn't turn out quite how I wanted, so now I drilled a hole through it and I'm gonna tap some new threads on it. My drill wasn't perfectly straight, so we're gonna see what kind of happens there, see if it still lines up with the bolt hole on the other side of the exhaust. But if I can drill threads in there, I think we'll be good. Alrighty, well, it looks like the bolt will work out perfect. I think it's gonna do exactly what it needs to do for a very long time. I did get a lock washer on there just in case. Need to clean off all the manifold joints. Over here on the intake, I'm doing the mechanical fuel pump gasket, and somebody just left the old one on and double stacked 2 gaskets on there, so I had to go to town and actually remove the studs that hold the pump on. I've learned if you don't do it right, you're gonna do it twice, so I went to town on it. So I'm over here cleaning the manifold, and I've realized, so as you can see here, there is a lot of metal just right here. It's actually like a lip that you can feel. That probably screws up airflow quite a bit. And it's also not even close to being like the same size as the gasket. So I think I may just take a die grinder and just grind down the lip a little bit, and then maybe air will be able to flow a little bit nicer. I don't know, that's weird to me that they're so small. It's not going to be perfect since obviously I'm not a master of how flow works, but I know that not having a lip there is going to increase the flow. Alrighty guys, well I got the head back from the machine shop. It looks way better. They cleaned it up too, so I'm happy about that. But they went through, replaced that valve that was bad. This guy's a new valve, and then they cleaned up all the old exhaust valves and made those seat a little bit better. I think that's 65 bucks well spent. The next thing I noticed is this spark plug, when torqued down, doesn't go all the way as far as these ones. So I think there's a ton of carbon buildup. Yeah, I can like break it off with my finger. So I'm gonna go ahead and run a tap through it and hope that that cleans it up at least a little bit. Alrighty, another day now. Scope creep is certainly happening. I'm gonna replace all the rubber fuel line in there, get that all squared away so I don't have any potential engine fires. I also had to replace this stud over here because it broke off, so that's got a new stud. I like to use this stuff, copper spray gasket, on exhaust manifolds and head gaskets. Just increases the likelihood of it sealing perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a spray down. Alrighty, well the cylinder head is ready to go back on. This should be less than enjoyable trying to get that back in there. Alrighty guys, it's another day now. I got the head on, all that stuff. Now I need to start plugging everything in, put the timing belt back on, and I need to redo the exhaust. I'm gonna redo the portion basically 3 feet down after the header, gonna cut it off, put a new catalytic converter on it, and then redo that piping to my new muffler that I had back there. The original piping is completely busted apart just after the catalytic converter, and the existing catalytic converter is, I think, hollow now. But yeah, I got a new one for that, cheap Amazon one that will work for this vehicle. Just gonna keep going through and plugging things in, and I need to check all the valves, make sure those are all within spec. I believe the machine shop did that, but I'm just gonna double check for my own sanity and make sure everything's good to go. Okay, well I kind of went to town on this. I re-clearanced all the valves, made sure those are all good. I obviously put everything back on the engine that I possibly can. Next up on the list is cutting out this exhaust because it is completely falling apart. As you can see, I got a whole bunch of like crack filler right in there because I couldn't get a welder in there. Well, I've almost got the exhaust ready. This isn't the prettiest work ever, but it'll work for this $300 truck. Gonna actually get the gasket on there and start hooking it up, because now from here I'm actually just gonna put a clamp on that end so I don't have to make it all one piece and parts can come out without having to cut it out. Alrighty guys, here is the final day. I finished up the exhaust. I didn't take a video because I was getting kind of frustrated with it, but it is there. It's not all the way out the back, but it's going to work just fine, I believe. I don't know why. So the front exhaust is 2 inches inner diameter. This one's 1 3/8. So I just cut that off. Doesn't seem like reducing it to a bottleneck is a good idea. But anyways, put oil in it. Did everything I need to. Pretty sure it should fire up okay. I'm gonna first start it without the spark plugs connected so that I get oil throughout the whole engine before I go ahead and fire it up. Plus I gotta bleed out the fuel pump anyways. So I'm gonna be cranking here for a while. I already did that. I want to crank it for a while. So, through many hours of pain and struggling, my new mechanical fuel pump would not pump fuel. I tried literally everything, and I hope I get a refund for that, but immediately put the old one back in. Fires up nice and easy. That is absurdity right there. That's crazy. It runs like a new car though, so I'm happy for that. Alrighty guys, well that's the end of this video. Hopefully you might have enjoyed watching it. I didn't necessarily enjoy doing it, but this is my daily driver and I gotta have something sweet to cruise around. I'm thinking about polishing the paint on it because I feel like it might actually get reflective. There's a little bit of hope there. Maybe make it look kind of nice. I don't know, we'll see. I've got a bunch of parts coming for the Triumph, so we're gonna be heading on that here soon as well. But that's coming in a future video, so if you like this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.